Applications and websites built with ReactJS and other single-page application technologies are notoriously difficult to track in web analytics tools, as most web analytics tools rely on traditional page views. The listener from ListenLayer for ReactJS will automatically push data and events into the data layer as users interact with your single-page application or website. Once the feature is enabled, or once the listener is enabled, you'll want to turn on the URL path activity feature, which is the primary feature of the listener. This will push an event automatically into the data layer every time the URL path changes during a route change. The event that's pushed is ReactJS route, and you can see an example of the data layer activity here. Now, the event itself can also be managed here once it's activated and may have additional settings available on this screen. And when you first turn this listener on, you won't have any information here under the variable settings, as the listener will first need to be published and will need to collect actual live information from your React application before data becomes available here. These variables can then be used to customize your data layer by writing custom values from inside of ListenLayer. Before we look at that, let's take a look at an actual React application, very basic application here. And we also have our debug view open in Google Tag Manager. So let's go ahead and navigate from one page in our React app to another page. What you'll notice is as I moved from home to about, we had a route change as well as a path change. And because we had the path change up here in the URL, ListenLayer was able to automatically detect that and push this event, ReactJS route path, into the data layer. Now, this includes some automatic values as well as custom values. In this case, we do have a custom value based on a rule that we have written in ListenLayer. And our automatic values include where the user was previously and where they have navigated to at this point in time. All this information is also available inside of Google Tag Manager. You can see the same data layer push activity here, which was pushed in by the ListenLayer listener. And Google Tag Manager has read that and made it available to utilize within the Google Tag Manager interface. What the heck? I'm not sure where I'm going to have to go back to cut that out. So let's go all the way back here just to make sure. So before we jump into that, let's take a look at the listener in action on a live website. So here we have a very basic React application that includes a few route changes. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate. We were on the About screen, and we just navigated back to the home screen. And what you can see is that ListenLayer pushed information into the data layer, including the event ReactJS route path, and automatic information about where the user was and where they have now navigated to. In addition, we can push custom values into the data layer, which if we navigate back to the About page, you'll be able to see that we're actually pushing in a custom value, which into this data layer based on activity that we are seeing in the user's browser. Now, all of this information is available in Google Tag Manager automatically. So you can see here, every time our listener pushed information into the data layer, it was read by Google Tag Manager and is now available to write rules such as triggers, and you have to pull in variables into our Google Tag Manager so that we can power our analytics tracking. The most obvious use case here would be to use the ReactJS route path to create virtual page views for a tool such as Google Analytics, or to trigger specific conversions when certain routes occur. For example, maybe you trigger a specific path change after a form is submitted, and you can write a custom rule to indicate in your route custom values that a conversion has been completed. You could then grab that inside of Google Tag Manager and utilize that within your tracking.